Thousands of you have taken our organizing style quiz to find out what style you are, either lavender, rose, sunflower, or cactus blossom. And I wanted to show you what that looks like in practice. So I have this rather messy shelf behind me with some craft and kids stuff. And I'm going to be organizing it in 4 different ways for each of the organizing types, so you can see exactly what that would look like for you. Now, if you haven't taken that quiz yet, the link is down below. It's completely free, super easy, super fun. Find out what type you are and come back and watch the video. So, lavenders. You all like to organize in little chunks of time, and you like your organization to be functional. So you're going to prioritize it working over it looking beautiful. So for lavenders, the way we're going to start is we're going to break it up into 15-minute chunks. So on day 1, a lavender is going to remove everything from the shelves. As you're removing, you can categorize the items. And in your first 15 minutes, on day 1, that is all a lavender will accomplish. It is too overwhelming to try to keep going and put items back and things like that. Then on day 2, lavenders are going to organize just 1 square of this shelf. So you're going to take the grouped items and place them on the shelf. We are not going to use any organizing bins or anything like that. That's not important to a lavender. We just want to get it categorized so we can find it easily. On day 3, we're going to organize the next square of the shelf. So we're going to take the next grouped items we have and arrange them right on the shelf. On the last day, we're just going to organize that last section of shelf, and we're going to put the remaining items right on that shelf. We are not going to keep rearranging and messing with it. It just needs to be functional. Now we know where everything is. Everything has a home, and we got it done. It took us a week of 15-minute chunks. So for a lavender who doesn't want to use any supplies, this is what it looks like. We put the puzzles, colored pencils, and a little art kit here, things that stand up like this. Here is mostly kid stuff, all the kinetic sand, accessories, blocks, and some playing cards. Here is all the Cricut Joy stuff, the mats, the markers, the vinyl, everything in one section, and the Cricut Joy right on top of that. And then here we have all of the more older art supplies for older kids or adults. So we have the adult coloring book, we have some of the canvases, then we have the markers for the coloring book, the acrylic paints, the little paint pans, the finished artwork, and the little flower up here. So here's what it looks like. Cactus Blossom, you all like to organize all at once in a manner that is functional. So you value how it works over how it looks. So what that means is you are going to set aside a time when you have an hour to an hour and a half to complete this entire project. So you're going to start by removing everything from the shelf and categorize it as you do that. And then once that is complete, you're going to jump right into placing everything back on the shelf so you can finish it all at once. And you're going to start with each cubby at a time, place the items where they belong. You do want some structure, but you are not going to go out and order special bins and make beautiful labels. Instead, you're going to find items you already have around your home as you're organizing it. So you're going to use an empty yogurt or Cool-Whip container to put all of the markers in, or an empty spaghetti jar. You're going to find a box that you already have around the home. It's not super important that it looks like something you would find on Instagram. You also are not really going to take the time to label it with beautiful labels. Instead, you're going to just write in a marker right on the box what is in there, so you know it gets the job done. And in about an hour to an hour and a half, you have completed the entire shelf, and it looks like this. All right, so Cactus Blossoms, first of all, you did this all at once, all in one chunk. Took about an hour to complete. You are functional, so you are just using whatever you have. This is like an old yogurt container that I cleaned to kind of help contain the markers. It's just for a very practical use, so you can easily keep them together and take them where you want them. You have used a box for all the loose kinetic sand toys. You just wrote on it with a marker. You're not going to take the extra time to make a fancy label. These are also those extra food storage containers. Someone actually brought these to my house and never took them, so this is what I can use them for. You've even used this yogurt container for these blocks, so they're, again, just easy to carry around. And certain items don't really need a container, like these types of things. So this is what the final result looks like. All right, roses, you prefer to organize in small chunks of time. Trying to tackle this all at once would totally overwhelm you, and you want your organizing to be aesthetic and beautiful. You care a lot about how it looks, and that is definitely not vain. That is because it really does help you to feel better about it, be motivated to organize, and especially be motivated to keep it that way. So roses, on the first day, you're going to set your timer for 15 minutes, and you're just going to remove everything from the shelf and trying to categorize it as you go. That's all you're going to get done on day one because you're breaking it into small chunks. On the next day, roses, you're going to be able to come back and you're just going to organize one section of the shelf. You're going to set your timer for 15 minutes, and in that amount of time, you can get one section organized. You're going to use the multi-purpose bins to organize the shelf because that looks really pleasing to you, because everything is going to be in a matching bin, so it's going to look really pleasing. The bins are pretty versatile, so you can fit everything in there. The next day, you're going to come and you're going to organize this third section of the shelf, putting everything in the bins. You might rearrange just a little bit because you want it to look just right, but it's only going to take you about 15 minutes. Then on the final day, you just have the final section of the shelf left to organize. So you're going to finish that up by placing the items in the bin, and now it looks really pretty and it's all done. It took you about a week of 15-minute chunks to get it done. Okay, so here for the rows, first of all, we did this a little at a time where we did one section each time. You can see, however, when we went back and did the next section, a couple times I took something out of here and moved them over. So it doesn't mean you can never kind of intersect and perfect a little bit, but that was how we were able to divide it into chunks. You can see we mostly use these matching bins so that it looks very nice. We haven't done this here, but another thing that a rose might do would be to put really nice looking labels with like either a label maker or a Cricut or something like that. That is another touch that we could add. And you can also note how we put pretty things in the front of the bin, since you can see in them. We did try to put the prettiest things in there. I would also like to point out that we have more space and more room in here. So while the bins, we use them primarily because we like the look of everything being uniform, they actually do give more space. So even some functional organizers, other types might want to use these simply because they do give a lot of extra room, because you're able to store things more vertically, and we could actually fit a lot more in here. In addition to that, if like say we want to go do some coloring, all we do is we grab this whole bin and we can take it to our table. So that's another practical purpose for bins besides just looking nice and uniform. All right, where are my fellow sunflowers? Here's how we're gonna do this. So we like to tackle projects all at once. So we're gonna set aside a time when we have about an hour to an hour and a half to devote to this, so we can finish the whole thing in one go. We get more momentum as we go. We don't like to leave things hanging. And then we're also gonna organize in a way that is aesthetically pleasing. So we really care a lot about what it looks like, not just about how it functions. Both are really important to us. And again, there's a real purpose for making it look beautiful. It motivates us to organize, and it also helps us keep it that way. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and take everything off of the shelf, and we can categorize as we go. And as soon as that's done, we're gonna jump right in to taking the first section, getting that organized. We are going to look around at the bins that we have, and we wanna choose bins that contain these items really nicely while also looking really pretty. So as we're putting stuff back, we even are going to kind of test some things out. Where does it look best? We're going to spend a little bit more time making sure that we're really pleased with the way that it looks, and we'll just continue putting everything back. Now, we got it all done in one afternoon, and it is complete, and now we can enjoy our organized shelf. So for the sunflowers, we got this done all at once in about an hour, and you can see how we used matching bins so everything looks very aesthetically pleasing, is extremely uniform. It hides anything that is inside. Another touch we could consider would be to use labels like this that look really beautiful. I would put them uniformly on each one if I wanted to do that. And you can see how this has actually maximized our space. Now I want to point out that I did put these 2 puzzles up there. I thought it looked pretty. I would definitely take that price sticker off though, that's not cute. And it looks nice, it kind of goes with the flowers, a set of 3 things. So that saved a little bit of space, but these bins also save a ton of space. I have an entire empty bin, room to grow up here. But I still fill it for 2 reasons. First of all, I just think it looks much better, and then we're ready to grow. None of these bins are actually even overstuffed. So these bins not only serve an aesthetically pleasing purpose, but they also are functional and give us more space. You can see down in this one, I put the colored pencils, an art kit, the adult coloring, so the coloring book, the markers, and playing cards. Here in this one, we have all of the Cricut stuff is in one spot, and then we also have some of the acrylic paint canvases. And here in this one, we have all of the kinetic sand stuff. So the sand, the toys, everything together, and some blocks as well. So this is more like the kids' stuff to play with. It's also nice, we can take this whole thing out and the kids can go play with it. And then when they're done, they can put it all back in and we can just put it back on the shelf. And then this one, of course, is empty. If you know your flower type already, I would highly recommend that you consider joining us inside the Get Organized HQ Insiders. That's our membership for helping you keep your home decluttered, organized, and tidy easily throughout the year. It is perfect for all the different flower types. If you want someone who understands you and how you organize, it is a place for you. And of course, if you don't know what type you are, just click the link below. You can take our quick and easy quiz to find out.